Choosing the right cruise cabin can make or break your entire cruise experience. In this video, we will discuss the types of cabins, the ideal cabin location, common mistakes to avoid, and how to get the best deals. Hi y'all, I'm Jeff.
And I'm Becky.
And together we're Cruising Good Time.
People frequently ask us, what is the best cruise cabin? So today we're going to talk about different cruise cabin types. We're going to talk about inside versus balcony, location, forward, aft, midship, and what deck level.
Stick around to the end of the video because we're going to give you the cabins to avoid at all costs and what we consider to be the best value for cabins we've found on the high seas. Before I get into that, I just want to take a quick second to say thanks a lot to our subscribers for coming back and watching our video. If you just found us to this video, please give us a like and subscribe. Consider joining our community. We try to put out a really quality video about once a week.
So first, let's talk about those inside cabin. Of course, the big benefit is that they are less expensive. Now for the con. Typically, they are much smaller than the balcony cabins. And on the light situation, well, let's face it, they don't have a window. It stays the same amount of light all the time.
Yeah, you have no reference if it's day or night, but to me it's kind of like being in a Las Vegas casino. There's no reference of time to what's going on outside.
Now you can turn on the TV and you can see the location of the ship on the map. Inside cabins have less square footage and could have a smaller bathroom as well.
Ocean view cabins will cost less than a balcony, but a little bit more than an interior. They can give you a sense of time because you have some daylight coming in through the window. Be aware that some have just little small portholes on them, and some may have more picture windows, and some may have an obstructed view where you may see like a lifeboat hole or something like that out your window. They can be good bargains. It really depends on what you're looking for.
Okay.
By contrast, balcony cabins will cost more. That is the drawback for them. However, you do get more square footage in a balcony. They're always larger than an inside cabin, and you get some extra square footage by the balcony itself where you can go hang out on there. Other advantages of a balcony cabin is that you do have a frame of time for whether the sun's up or down because you can see the outside. But it's real convenient just to pop out on that balcony, see if it's raining, do I need a jacket going to port today, what does the port look like, so on and so forth. So it's really convenient to do all that.
There are some cruises where it's a much bigger benefit to have a balcony, such as an Alaskan cruise or Norwegian fjords, Patagonia, Antarctica, New Zealand.
And the Panama Canal, because during the transit of the Panama Canal, it's kind of convenient to have a balcony because it's an all-day event.
It also may be beneficial to have a balcony on cruises that have a lot of port days. However, be aware, many times you will be docking at like a container dockyard.
Yeah, that's kind of the experience in a lot of European and a lot of Caribbean ports. You're just parked right next to a container ship or right across the pier from a container ship. So the view's not super exciting in port, but sometimes you can see the scenery and all that on these other cruises. That makes it very worthwhile.
So if you need a little larger cabin, you can get a mini suite. So they have all the benefits of the balcony, and they're very convenient if you have a third or fourth person in your cabin.
So when considering a cabin, the location is critical, and that's whether you're an inside cabin or an outside cabin, and there's really two axes to consider. There's the forward, midship, aft axis, and then there's up and down the various decks on those cabins as well.
So let's talk about midship. So midship, you're going to have less motion. It's very convenient to get to everywhere, and they tend to be more expensive.
By contrast, the aft and the forward cabins are less expensive than midship, but you're going to have more motion because the ship can rock some. Aft cabins tend to have some of that engine noise and some of that engine vibration, which can bother some people. Some people don't care about it, and they buy those beautiful aft cabins that have that beautiful wake view on that back side out there.
So on our honeymoon cruise, we had an aft cabin in an older ship, and we didn't need to set alarms because every morning the vibration of the ship when we were in port and they put in those side engines would wake us up.
Yeah, we got a wake-up call every morning about 6 a.m. on our honeymoon cruise, courtesy of the captain.
I would like to add, some members of our family prefer forward and aft cabins because the stairways and elevators near them are less crowded than those midship. So things I love about staying at an upper deck is it's easy to run up the stairs and go to the pool or check out the view. This is especially important if you're in an inside cabin.
Yep.
The biggest downside for the upper deck is there's more motion, and you need to be careful about selecting your cabin because those directly below the pool deck chairs will have early morning noise.
Yeah, you can hear the deckhands rearranging the chairs pretty easily on some of those mornings. By contrast, a cabin on a lower deck, has less motion because you're lower to the ocean. And if you think about that, most ships' infirmaries are on midship at the lower deck possible to have the least amount of motion for the people that are feeling ill. So you'll get a lot less motion midship on a lower deck. You're also very convenient to a lot of the inside activities there, the dining rooms, the inside lounges, inside games, and a lot of ships have a promenade level. Usually it's right below the lifeboats where you can go out, check out the scenery there, get a breath of fresh air, kind of see what's going on, and maybe even walk the whole perimeter of the ship there. Lower cabins tend to cost a little bit more than upper cabins as a rule. Not always, but just check those out as well.
My niece, she prefers being between the two so she can run up and down the stairs to anything she wishes to do.
Yeah, if you like to get your stair steps in, you can stay in one of those middle decks and get up and down, no problem at all. So one of our most enjoyable Alaska cruises was that we had a balcony on the lower deck, and it was just like one above the main deck there, and we were able to see those otters so well when we're in Glacier Bay there. I mean, they're just right there below us. It's really a good experience that way. So as promised, we're going to tell you some of the cabins to avoid. And the first thing you do is always check the deck plans before you book that cabin. And here's a hint. When you're looking at deck plans on a web page, they don't necessarily line up forward and aft. Use the staircases that you see on those deck plans to make sure that you're aligned between the various decks. That way you can tell easier if you are picking one of these cabins that you should avoid.
So cabins that you absolutely should avoid are cabins adjacent to stairs, elevators, or a passenger laundry room. Also avoid cabins that are underneath the theater or a music lounge, and avoid cabins that are underneath the pool deck chair area.
There's two classes of ships out there that you should be aware of that you may lose some privacy on, and that is on a Royal class, Princess Royal class ship, where they have that skywalk around the midship. People can see down into those midship balconies and mini suites, so be aware of that. And on the Celebrity Apex ships, you have that elevator that goes up and down the side of the ship. Well, as it goes up and down, they can see inside those balconies as you go up and down as well. On many of the RCCL ships, there are balcony cabins towards the stern over the boardwalk or the park area. These face inside towards other cabins over the park, and they have very little privacy because you can see from one balcony into the other across the way. Just be aware of that.
On our mini travels, the best value we have found for a cruise cabin is in the Princess Royal class ship, the Obstructed View balcony.
It's a great bargain. You get several $100s less than a regular balcony, and you're looking out over the lifeboats. So you don't, from the horizon, you can still see the horizon just fine. You may get a lifeboat winch right there in front of your cabin, but it doesn't really block any of the view. You can't look down, straight down into the water, but you rarely do that anyway when you're in a cruise ship. But you can see the horizon just fine. So even for Alaska, New Zealand, Patagonia, Norway, it's a good bargain to get.
And before I select my cabin there, I also check the deck plans and maybe see if I can find that same room on the internet.
Absolutely. Always check your deck plans so you know where you're getting.
So it's important to note that if you're concerned about motion sickness, book a low cabin in the middle of the ship. We hope you've enjoyed this video. Thank you so very much for watching.
If you liked the video, please give us a like and subscribe and turn on those notifications and come join our community. We'd really like to have you on board.
Until next time, have a cruising good time.